wake up, you make your normal, everyday breakfast. Then you pour yourself a nice cup of coffee. You go in your garage, you get in your car, drive to work. You get to work and realize that your employees or your coworkers, most of them are gone. You go see your boss and he exclaimed, the machines, they have taken your jobs and you're fired. Good morning, my name is Connor Cochran, and today I'll be discussing the question, to what extent are technological innovations affecting the employment of Americans and increasing the skill level needed to work alongside these high-level jobs? So as you can see, phones, computers, iPads are all taking over jobs, as well as machines. They're taking over the jobs that you can perform. And according to this article, World at Work from Derek Thompson, he states, what may be looming is something different, an era of technological unemployment, in which computer scientists and software engineers essentially invent us out of work and the total number of jobs decline steadily and permanently, meaning that these machines are completely taking over jobs, and yes, they are declining. As you can see, this is a comparison of the world to what technology is. When technology is plugged in, the world goes worldwide into a communication system, and all technology is starting to take over our jobs. As you can see from this graph from Technological Revolution and Finance Center, it shows that at the beginning of time, technology had a slow start. And then we see a massive boost as we develop phones, all these computer systems, all these programs that increase our jobs due to technology, but lose from humans. And then we have kind of capped it off as where we are now, but as we experience more self-driving cars, this has a chance to be extended again. As you can see from this graph from the future of employment, how susceptible jobs are to conversation, it shows that 99% chance of telemarketers will be completely erased, followed by 94% of accountants. These are middle wage jobs. They could be gone completely in the upcoming years, but are not yet. But as these computers and machines break through, we could possibly lose all these jobs. And a scare is that right now there's a 0.04% chance that dentists in the future will be extinct, and this is a high-level job, followed by surgeons, doctors. And imagine if these jobs are gone due to robots, where would we be? As you can see from this chart from the National Employment Law Project, it shows that 60% of mid-wage occupations are declining, showing that, yes, this is like automobiles and manufacturing industry. They're continuing to decline. But minimum wage jobs and high wage are okay right now, but in the future, as more machines and robots are brought up and built, we have a chance of losing these jobs, and that can be very, very scary. And going back to the automobiles and the manufacturing industry, since 2001, we have recorded that there's been a major job decline. And this is from the US Bureau of Labor Statistics. And it shows that we went from 18 million over here all the way down to 11 million in 2009. And this is continuing to decrease as time moves on. And this is the problem. And according to Adam in his book, Wealth of Nations, he says, when any expensive machine is erected, the extraordinary work to be performed by it, before it is worn out, it must be expected, will replace the capital laid upon it without the least ordinary profits, showing that all these machines will be used fully to the max compared to as humans, where they might not be used as fully, but these machines will be worked, they will go all the way through and be completed their task. According to Walmart, it shows that 154 stores will be closed in the United States, meaning that all these people are losing their jobs due to technology. Because why? Walmart is leaving their online communication system or their e-commerce stores open, where you can buy all your products online. And this is reducing the amount of workers needed to complete and participate in these job opportunities. Now, what is automation? Automation is where people don't have to work and the job can be done. For example, Uber taxi might end up switching to automation. Kalanick, the CEO of Uber, says that once self-driving cars are fully ready, he'll be completely ready to switch out and take on these self-driving cars. And what's the problem with this? Well, if there's CEO of Uber replaces with them, Uber with self-driving cars, then all these jobs are going to go extinct. Millions and millions of workers will no longer have their jobs, and the transportation system will be completely affected, and there will be no more people driving these cars, compared to which will make the society change completely. Now, on the other hand, now you have manufacturing jobs being lost as well. As you can see, this robot is pointing this human away, meaning that this robot can now perform the job that the human can do at a cheaper rate, where the robot doesn't have to get paid, where all they have to do is make an ordinary purchase, then have like payments along the way to fix this, but then they don't need a human, which has to be paid hourly or on a salary. So like these machines over here are making manufacturing parts, fixing automobiles, making boats, and etc. Now, what exactly are possible high-skill jobs that can be lost? Well, these are dentists, these are surgeons, and all these surgeons have a possibility of having their jobs lost due to robots. And when these robots completely take over this high-level jobs, these people don't know what to do because they go to school for 8 years, get all their degrees in these high-level jobs, and then they can't work. So they keep trying to run after something that's already gone, and they don't know how to get it back. They have no way to go and find a different job because they have their degree in surgeons, but then they lose their jobs instead of working alongside with these robots. So the first possible solution is to lower the minimum wage. If we lower the minimum wage, the first thing that can happen is people will be paid less. This is not the biggest issue. The better problem, or the better happening with this, is that jobs will hire more people than they will buy machines, because these machines are very expensive and cost a lot of money to obtain. Whereas you pay the people lower, they might be able to work at a cheaper rate and keep their jobs. But the main problem with this is people already don't like working that low wage, and they'll start protesting and fight for a higher minimum wage. So this might not be as good as we can receive. So the best possible solution is to increase technology in schools from a young age. Starting with elementary school, introduce your child to computers, programs, let them gain knowledge. By the time you have middle school, allow them to get into clubs, classes that have technology. And once you get into these classes, they'll start to learn. That way in high school, when you get into classes like IT tech, computer engineering, software engineering, they'll be able to learn and understand this better. So that way they can work alongside the machines as they grow up and not have to worry about having their job lost to a robot or machine. That way they understand the technology. But there's a small problem with this, is because as they grow older and people get more and more up with this, that they might not want to participate in such a high-level job, or they might not have the funding able to pay for this job. What are your questions?
All right, 2 questions for you. First up, how valid and reliable were the sources that you used, and how do you know?
Well, for one of the sources that I used was from the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, and that source I found pretty reliable because it's made from multiple authors with correct data. And I use the source from College Board, such as the Wealth of Nations piece and the World at Work, and they're reliable because they're from College Board, and as well as they were given with authors and dates correctly.
Second question, if you had more time, what additional research would you do?
If I had more time, what I wanted to additionally use, but I didn't end up using, was talk more about the issue of high-level jobs being taken, such as the dentist and the surgeons. Because I just gave the brief of what could possibly happen, but if I had more time, I would go into more detail about how these jobs would be lost, or what type of machines would take place their jobs. Not just the broad overview, so if you spend more time talking deeply about how they would lose their jobs to the machines, and what society would be like if that were to happen.
Thank you. You are done.